Chapter 3 of Puss in Boots, Jr. in Fairyland. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Puss in Boots, Jr. in Fairyland by David Cory. Chapter 3 Circus Friends. Well, after the lovely princess had finished singing to the shepherd's baby, as I told you in the last story, there came across the meadow the clear, sharp note of a horn, and pretty soon a number of horsemen rode up. "Is the princess here?" asked the leader, for the kind shepherd had stepped outside on hearing them approach. "Yes, she is inside," he replied, with a low bow. And then the princess herself came to the door, and when she saw them, she cried with delight, "Brother mine, where did you come from?" For the tall, handsome leader was her brother, you see, and had a beautiful kingdom in Mother Goose Country. And after that he took her on his horse and rode away, and then the funny little man seated himself on his magic rug and flew away, so that Puss was left all alone with the kind shepherd and his wife. Well, after a while Puss said good-bye and continued his journey of adventure, and as he trudged along he came to a great circus tent in the big field. The band was playing and the flags flying, and now and then the roar of the wild animals came down the wind. But that didn't frighten Puss, for don't you remember he once belonged to a circus? Of course you do. And would you believe it? As soon as he got close enough to the tent, he saw his old friend the circus clown standing outside talking to the circus queen. "Come right into the tent and see your big white horse," she cried, catching Puss by the paw and dragging him into the tan bark ring. And there stood the big white horse, and when he saw Puss, Jr., he whinnied and neighed, and then he began to talk. Yes, sir, he did, and the first thing he said was, "Get on my back, little comrade, and take a turn around the ring, for it seems like old times again." And Puss jumped on his back and stood first on one leg and then on the other, and rode around and around just as if he had been doing that sort of thing all his life. And you should have heard the people cry out, "Bravo!" which means "Splendid," you know, for the tent was just full of people who had paid 50 cents to see the show and a lot of nickels to drink lemonade and eat peanuts. And when it was all over, Puss sat down on a bench outside the tent and told the circus people all that had happened to him since he last saw them. And after that the twinkle, twinkle star came out and shone down on a little side tent where the circus queen's baby was asleep. And then the clown came and stood by the door and looked in, for he was its father, you know. And while Puss and the circus queen tiptoed inside, the twinkle, twinkle star began singing this little song: "Sleep, little baby in the white tent, your mother is queen of the show, but she doesn't care for anyone there as much as your little pink toe. Your little red mouth she loves best, I know, than all the applause in the big circus show." And then she leaned over the cradle and said, "Some day, littlest boy, you'll grow up to be a funny clown like your father, and you'll paint your face white with big red marks on both cheeks. But I'll love you just as much. Oh, yes, I will." Then Puss, Jr., cuddled up on a big pillow and went to sleep, and in the morning the baby, laughing and cooing, awoke him. And would you believe it? The baby wanted to play with him all day, and cried when he went out of the tent. So you see how fond everybody is of Puss in Boots, Jr., even the little babies who can only say "goo goo" and double up their fists, and sometimes cry. But the good ones only cry when they are hungry, so I'm told by all loving mothers. "Won't you stay with us and ride the big white horse?" asked the circus clown the next morning, but Puss said, "No, I must be on my way, for I have got the wanderlust," which means the love of wandering from place to place. So the circus people gave Puss the big white horse to ride away on. In the next story you shall hear some more adventures which befell little Puss Junior. End of chapter 3.